Good morning, Professor and fellow classmates. We are Group 1, and today we'll be presenting on Wikipedia. The structure of the presentation is as follows. We will start by discussing the origins of Wikipedia, followed by its rise to fame and adopted business model. We will then move on to discussing key competitors, current trends, and potential challenges. Finally, we will end off with recommendations for Wikipedia to remain relevant, based on the current trends and emerging challenges. I'll first begin by describing the unique nature of Wikipedia, both as an online encyclopedia and as a wiki. Encyclopedias have existed for thousands of years, but the first modern written encyclopedia that we understand today was published in 1728. It contained a comprehensive collection of general knowledge across a vast array of subjects. Each article was written by an expert and was subjected to a rigorous screening process to verify its truthfulness. Fast forward to the 1990s, Microsoft Encarta was the first fully digital encyclopedia, complete with audio, video, and search capabilities. It was originally sold as a CD-ROM, before being migrated to the World Wide Web and accessible via an annual subscription. So back to Wikipedia. Wikipedia started out as Nupedia, a closed-content free encyclopedia that was intended to be a spin-off of the traditional peer-reviewed process. However, content creation was very slow, in part due to its 7-step editorial process that resulted in only 2 articles being published in a year. Nupedia was subsequently edited to a wiki format, leading to the creation of Wikipedia. Wikipedia was so popular that its success cannibalized Nupedia and subsequently led to its demise. So what are wikis? Wikis are websites that allow collaborative information sharing. Users can edit, make and save changes that will be updated and propagated to anyone who visits the website. Based on the open source model, it is a quick, easy, and simple to use for non-developers due to the absence of technical jargon. The first wiki was created in 1994 and was called WikiWikiWeb, intended to host information for software developers. Since then, many other wikis have spawned and are sustained by users with shared interests, such as Gamepedia for online games and TV tropes for pop culture and movies. Wikipedia was launched in a separate platform in 2001 using an open source wiki engine. In contrast to Nupedia, Wikipedia published 20,000 entries in its first year alone. In 2005, Wikipedia dethroned Microsoft Encarta as the most popular research site and is currently ranked among the top 8 most visited websites in the world today, containing over 6 million English articles, with an average of 577 articles written per day. It also boasts articles written in over 300 languages from contributors all over the world. Here we see the steady rise in the total number of articles on Wikipedia since 2001, and this is largely due to the success factors that will be discussed next.
Did you know that before Wikipedia, there were a myriad of online platforms that also tried to become the beloved platform that we know of today? What made Wikipedia better than the rest of them? What mistakes did they make that Wikipedia avoided? There are a couple of key factors that changed Wikipedia's fortunes: low barriers to edit, its community, and its initial user growth. Many of the original platforms are open source in principle. Everyone could contribute if they are qualified experts. Editors usually had degrees in their fields in those days. Wikipedia went even further and allowed everyone to edit, reducing the barriers to participation. In addition, Wikipedia also made it easy for everyone to edit, with technology tools to rule back and test edits. Wikipedia also allowed instant gratification. Edits appeared instantly, unlike Nupedia, where every entry goes through 7 checks. This minimizes the loss of motivations for editors. Wikipedia also set low expectations for an editor's commitment. Wikipedia de-emphasized the ownership of the article by making it difficult to tell who edited or wrote an article. This encouraged them because they would not be pressured to contribute something stellar. A viewer could just edit a sentence on the fly, but these small contributions added to become articles, which then turned into an encyclopedia. Next, Wikipedia's community. Many platforms have a community, but it's useless if the community is not directed with a common goal and culture. For example, a member of the H2G2 founding team mentioned that his users had a lack of common frame of reference, and thus a lot of the articles were either irrelevant or written in the wrong tone. Wikipedia, in contrast, mimicked the concept of an encyclopedia and inspired all its users to share a noble common goal: to make information accessible to everyone. Moreover, to facilitate collaboration for content, they had content policies in place, such as the neutral point of view, to help editors form a consensus on content, and the wiki etiquette to minimize frictions between members. These decisions work really well with the interactive and personal nature of Wikipedia, where contributors interact with other contributors by building on top of each other's work. And with a common goal, this helped them form strong bonds between them and led to the proliferation of contributions. As much as Wikipedia was well designed, they faced a major problem in starting out. The product required a critical mass of articles to attract contributors and a critical mass of contributors that churn out articles. So how did the founders solve this problem? Firstly, Wikipedia's initial user growth was helped tremendously by the rise of Google. Wikipedia contained many links in between its articles, which boosted its page rank in Google's search engine, often appearing at number 1 on the search results, and this drove many users to its website. Secondly, the founders worked as evangelists and personally grinded out part of the initial critical mass of content. This is in contrast to the other platforms, where founders worked on the technology and expected contributors to come. Lastly, Wikipedia started off as a platform for enthusiasts that visit the website because of its diverse and unusual content. This formed the initial value proposition and attracted many viewers to its website. Because of these key decisions, the initial critical mass was formed. Beyond the critical mass, the virtual cycle carries the platform forward. Many viewers lead to more edits and more articles that led to better content, which in turn brings in more viewers again. This led to the widely popular platform we know today, that is vastly superior to its competitors in 3 aspects: breadth and depth, timeliness, and objectivity. Firstly, Wikipedia now boasts one of the highest amount of article entries and content per article, and is 5 times bigger than Encyclopedia Britannica in both metrics. Secondly, articles undergo many revisions per minute to always reflect the latest information. It was even faster than some press companies covering the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake. Lastly, Wikipedia has the highest objectivity in the tone of its content. Encyclopedias, with a sole main editor, can have biased views, like the 11th edition of the Britannica, where the lynch law was described the Ku Klux Klan as a protective society and defended its actions. With thousands of reviewers for an article, this will be very unlikely in Wikipedia.
I will now be speaking on Wikipedia's business model. The Wikimedia Foundation is a non-profit which supports Wikipedia and other free knowledge websites to fulfill its vision to create a knowledge database which is available to all for free. Wikipedia was originally funded by Bomis, Jimmy Wales's for-profit business. However, as popularity increased, revenues to fund the project stalled. Wales and Sanger thought of a charity model to fund the project since Wikipedia was depleting Bomis's resources. The Wikimedia Foundation was incorporated in 2003. Subsequently, Wikimedia ventured into other domains such as Wikiquotes, Wikinews, and Wikidata. The Wikimedia Foundation goal is to have at least 1 year of operating funds to sufficiently support operating expenses. Hence, the foundation works on increasing its cash and investment balance. This ensures that there are sufficient funds for unforeseen opportunities or events that limit their ability to raise funds. As of mid-2019, the cash and investment balance of Wikimedia totaled $151 million, which is about 17 to 18 months of operating funds. The surplus is used to fund specific and non-recurring investment opportunities. In 2019, Wikimedia earned a total revenue of $120 million. The organization has a donation-based revenue model where they get most of its funds in the form of donations from millions of individuals and corporations around the world. Donations totaled $111 million, which made up 92.5% of their total revenue last year. Other sources of revenue include in-kind services, the Wikimedia merchandise store, and interest and dividends on investments. Wikimedia allocates its resources in three main categories: programmatic, general and administrative, and fundraising. The total expense in 2019 was $91.4 million. $68.2 million was spent on programmatic activities, $12.5 million on general and administrative activities, and $10.9 million on fundraising. Firstly, for programmatic activities, this includes all work done by Wikimedia that directly supports its mission. There was a spending of $2.33 million on technologies such as servers and bandwidth, $36.1 million on staff salaries, $12.6 million on awards and grants, and $5.4 million on other operating expenses. Next, for general and administrative spending, this includes all costs for business insurance, staff recruitment expenses, salaries of relevant departments, and an allocation for general office expenses such as rent. $6.2 million was spent on salaries, which made up 51.2% of general and administrative spending. Lastly, spending on fundraising includes salaries of fundraising staff, expenses related to online fundraiser, and all fundraising-related travel and conference costs. $4.97 million was spent on fundraising expenses, making up 45.6% of fundraising spending. $3.74 million was spent on salaries. This made up 34.3% of spending. Given Wikimedia's non-profit status, it is likely to question the sustainability of their projects. In 2019, there was an increase in spending by 12.2% from the previous year. The largest contributor to their spending was on salaries. Wikimedia has 350 staff and spent $46.1 million on salary. This made up 50.4% of total spending. This is a 19.5% increase from the previous year. In contrast, the cost of their servers was only 2.55% of total spending in 2019. However, these values are in line with their financial plan they had made the year before. Also, Wikipedia has had an increasing trend of donations over the past decade. In the past year, there was an increase in donations by 13.5%. Hence, given their financial position and increasing trend of donations, this proves to be a sustainable model for the nonprofit.
In examining industry trends, we will first identify current players in the wiki industry before looking at their developmental trends. There are not many examples of open-sourced encyclopedias quite as successful as Wikipedia. The closest one may get comparing numbers might be Baike and Baidu. It is however hard to view them as competitors. Emerging due to the ban of Wikipedia in China, these encyclopedias have limited reach as they only serve Chinese users. Both are also for-profit, serving a different purpose compared to Wikipedia. Most importantly, strict censorship is imposed by the Chinese government, limiting their reliability. Their developments and operations are still relevant in highlighting trends in the industry. Encyclopedia Britannica was one of the players greatly affected by Wikipedia's entry. Shifting from physical to online channels was not sufficient. Leveraging upon the content that they already had, Britannica repurposed the content and broke into the scene of technology-enabled learning. Offerings such as Britannica School and Britannica Academic provide tailored content aligned with school curriculum and an integrated platform for student research. A major trend that Wikipedia brought about was the popularization of wikis. Just to recap, wikis are simply content management applications characterized by its open editing system. Wiki-based applications have proliferated through wiki hosting services or wiki farms. These organizations provide the servers and software required to host a wiki, allowing users to easily create, develop, and maintain independent wikis. The most popular of which is Fandom, also known as Wikia. Fandom focuses on lifestyle entertainment topics where users create and manage wikis ranging from TV shows to video games. Many of these wiki farms run on MediaWiki, the open source software that was developed for Wikipedia. These wiki farms are often free to use but supported through advertising revenues. Wikipedia has spurred the growth of such independent, niche-based usage of wikis. Wikis have also been adopted for business or enterprise-focused applications. The wiki functionality for employees to easily share and exchange their knowledge forms the basis of these applications, while other features specific in helping various business processes make them unique. Common business processes targeted are project management, quality management, and customer service support. Features that can be found across all of such applications range from access control to surveys. Competition in this offering is relatively fierce, with a great variety of free and paid softwares. They differ mostly from features offered and scalability between smaller SMEs and larger corporations. Looking at the developmental trends across the various wikis, from wiki farms to enterprise-focused applications, we identified three important trends. Firstly, the integration of third-party applications. The ability to use other applications within the wiki software is driven by a few reasons. Firstly, familiarity of old interfaces and programs makes it difficult to do a complete overhaul at times. Secondly, integration allows companies to focus on their value proposition instead of wasting resources on developing functionalities outside of expertise. Lastly, the convenience and efficiency that can be achieved from integration can be tremendous. Confluence has done this by offering an app marketplace. Big players they tie up with include Google Drive, with capabilities of embedded files and live links. Popular apps also include Briefly, that allows users to create drawings and diagrams. In fact, what Atlassian, the parent company of Confluence, is trying to do is integrate its other product offerings such as Trello and Jira, creating an ecosystem that can entrench users within. Having such capabilities is one key differentiating factor between players in this industry.
Like many other tech industries, Wikipedia and the wiki industry is no stranger to automation and artificial intelligence. One of such ways is through bots, software applications that run automated tasks. Wikipedia has more than 2,500 bots, the most of which are dedicated to fixing links and contents. They work together with the protector bots that detect vandalism and other destructive behaviors. A more obscure bot category, the generators, creates articles such as those about US cities from other sources. Anyone can write a bot or request for others to help write a bot in Wikipedia. The bots undergo a testing and approval process before deployment. However, they are of course not without problems. Edit wars can occur between bots due to different rules applied. Research has also highlighted issues of bot-human interactions that can lead to lower new user retention. Improvements can thus definitely be made in this aspect. In other wiki-based applications, artificial intelligence is also used actively. Guru, an enterprise wiki software used by major companies such as Spotify or Slack, differentiates itself by using AI to process chat logs and voice calls to make intelligent suggestions to the users on things such as the most suitable person to resolve issues or even provide links to relevant content. In 2016, Wikipedia also teamed up with Google Ideas to launch Project Detox, which eventually evolved into Perspective API. This was a free tool that utilized machine learning to flag out potentially toxic comments that undermine a civil exchange of ideas. Wikipedia provided 100,000 comments as a dataset for Google to train their models on and subsequently tested it on 63 million Wikipedia comments. The results helped Wikipedia better understand the demographic profile of abusers and help them to better understand the problem. Wikimedia Crowd Services also provides the Objective Revision Evaluation Service, or ORS for short. It's a machine learning tool that evaluates articles and edits and suggests whether they are appropriate. For potentially damaging content, it even evaluates whether the mistake was made in good faith so as to guide whether there should be punitive measures or not. Finally, companies such as Google Brain or Salesforce have explored using machine learning to generate Wikipedia articles. They do so by crawling the web for information and use recurrent neural networks to summarize the information. Currently, the AI-generated articles usually have repetitive sentence structures and are still rather verbose. However, continued work is still being done by researchers to find improvements in this area. The last trend we would like to highlight is how there has been an increase in the number of development tools to help user engagement. Enterprise wikis recognize the large amount of time employees spend on these platforms and see the opportunity to foster greater engagement there. Jive, another enterprise wiki, markets itself as an interactive intranet focusing on employee engagement, helping to facilitate this from the onboarding stage to daily interactions. Tools in the software allow for social networking with features such as peer badges and user profile customization. User engagement can also be monitored and analyzed by managers via an interactive and attractive dashboard. Baitu as a public wiki also has various user engagement strategies. For example, users can collect health points for performing certain tasks on the wiki and can redeem them for physical goods.
Now I'll talk about the main challenges that Wikipedia faces. The first main challenge that Wikipedia faces is in its declining editor participation. Wikipedia's peak number of active editors was in 2007 at 50,000 active editors. However, it has been on a decline since then, with only 30,000 active editors in 2014. Decreasing at this rate will lead to no active editors on Wikipedia by 2025. One reason for this decline is the switch in habits for internet browsing from computers to mobile phones. Written in special markup code, Wikipedia is already hard enough to edit on computers, and even harder to edit on phones. Also, harsh new rules put into place to combat vandalism and hoaxes, as well as strict rules to follow for standardization, has deterred new editors. Analysis from Wikipedia's public logs found that the likelihood of a new editor's edits being deleted immediately has increased drastically since the start, and also indicated that well-intentioned newcomers are far less likely to still be editing Wikipedia 2 months after their first try. The second challenge that Wikipedia faces is with its reputation. Due to past vandalism and instances of false information, Wikipedia has gained a reputation for not being reliable enough to be a scholarly resource. Because Wikipedia can be edited by anyone at any time, any information could be vandalism, a work in progress, or just plain wrong. Despite the measures that Wikipedia has put into place to combat these challenges, such as locking certain articles only to trusted administrators, as well as using bots to combat vandalism, there is still a problem where unnoticed mistakes that slip by all these checks and end up affecting Wikipedia's reliability. Another cause of this is also the reluctance of the general public to edit mistakes that they find. A study done on medical students found that a vast majority of them found errors while on Wikipedia. However, only a minority of them corrected the mistakes that they found. Not only that, there are also an emergence of more reliable competitors to Wikipedia. For example, Scholarpedia is an online wiki encyclopedia that is extremely similar to Wikipedia, except only registered scholars are able to edit the articles, giving Scholarpedia a feeling of being more reliable. The third challenge that Wikipedia faces is underrepresentation. The main demographic of Wikipedia's editors are white males living in Europe or North America. This has led to underrepresentation of certain topics, linguistic bias, as well as structural inequalities. For example, only 18% of the biographies on Wikipedia's site are on women. With such a skewed demographics of editors, the topical bias is also very strong, which can be seen where Wikipedia's entries on Pokemon and female porn stars are very comprehensive, whereas the pages on Wikipedia on female novelists or places in sub-Saharan Africa are sketchy. The last challenge is on controversial topics on Wikipedia. Edit wars occur frequently when editors disagree with each other's opinions and constantly override each other's contributions. Despite Wikipedia locking these controversial articles to editing, there's still an ambiguity on topics which may not have an objective truth. These are also the most controversial topics on Wikipedia. Politics, especially, is one of the most controversial topics, and there are problems of people making use of Wikipedia to further their own agenda. For example, some members of Congress were caught polishing and deleting information on Wikipedia pages for their parties for self-centered gains. Many of these challenges have been acknowledged by Wikipedia and have been mentioned on what they wish to improve to achieve their goal to become the essential infrastructure of the ecosystem of free knowledge by 2030.
The main challenge that Wikipedia faces is the declining editor participation. We have a few recommendations to help combat this. Our key recommendation for Wikipedia is to implement some form of gamification in order to incentivize user activity. Next, given that Wikipedia already has an existing user base, you can create a social network in order to grow the Wikipedia community. Lastly, we suggest a revamp of the UI/UX of the editing process. For our main recommendation, gamification refers to the application of game design elements and principles in non-game contexts. Research has shown that this improves user engagement and crowdsourcing effects. It also increases user-to-user interaction, which promotes community growth. It is a trend that has seen success when employed. There are 3 big success stories in similar industries that Wikipedia can look to. First, we have Baidu. As mentioned in the earlier section, it gives its editor wealth points for contributing towards articles, and these points can be used to redeem products such as iPhones and washing machines. Baidu's reward system is an external one. Baidu and Wikipedia differ in that Baidu is a for-profit organization, hence their entire operation is very commercialized, allowing them to implement attractive incentives. The next example we have is Reddit. It's an online forum and news aggregation site that allows users to give awards and badges to other users' comments and posts. These awards cost money to give, making it a rare and special achievement to get one. Even though these awards have no practical use, unlike an iPhone or a washing machine, it is the rarity and difficulty of getting one that makes it an attractive incentive. Its rewards are not functional rewards, it is simply for show. And the last example we will look at is Quora. It is a question and answer site which gives users credits based on the quality of their answers, which is determined by other users. These credits can then be used to promote their own questions or their profiles and blog posts. In this case, the incentives are rewards that can be used on the site itself. These incentives are internal and the benefits are reaped on the site itself. Wikipedia cannot and absolutely should not plainly copy these success stories, as they each have their own special set of circumstances and mechanics. We have identified 3 keys for the implementation of gamification for Wikipedia. Firstly, a gamification design consultant should be engaged. While the concepts of gamification may seem simple, the execution is not. Many mechanics that sound good on paper often fall flat when implemented. Secondly, the reward system used must be appropriate. We recommend one that is more similar to Reddit's, where the reward is simply for show with no inherent use. This is because Wikipedia's community was attracted not because of tangible incentives. They were bonded by a common goal, and overly incentivizing the process may erode this nobler purpose that binds the community together. Lastly, the mechanics introduced should be community generated. Beyond the basic building blocks of points, badges, and leaderboards, beyond the initial launch of the system, the mechanics should adapt according to the community's inputs. This creates the community's sense of ownership from the gamification mechanics and increases the chance that the community buys into the gamification. For the next recommendation, Wikipedia can look to create a social network. This includes a greater focus on the user as an individual through mechanics such as profile pages with activity logs, achievements. And the next step will be to encourage user-user interaction by creating connections similar to how Facebook's friends system works, and user-to-user messages and other mechanics. This will help to develop the Wikipedia community, makes the community more attractive, and increases the stickiness of new users. This will help it to retain its existing editor base and grow it at the same time. Moving on to the last recommendation, Wikipedia can look to revamp their user interface and experience for editors. Currently, editing is done in markup code. This makes the editing interface cumbersome and hard to pick up. The reason why it is done in markup code is because the older Wikipedia community prefers it this way. Secondly, editing on mobile is also challenging, and given the amount of time spent on mobile phones by most people these days, Wikipedia should definitely look to improve the editing process on mobile devices. In order to attract new editors, especially from the younger generation, the editing interface and experience must undergo serious revision. And with that, we conclude our presentation. Thank you very much.
Wikipedia is the best thing ever. anyone in the world can write anything they want about any subject. So you know you are getting the best possible information.